Hello everybody, greetings from New York. I would like to thank Minister Besimi for his kind invitation. I'm honored to take part in something that promotes not only expertise, but also unity in these divisive times. I'm also humbled to share a stage with Paul Krugman. I'm a huge fan for some 20 years now, and Mr. Krugman, you're the only reason I have not canceled my subscription to the Times yet. Sometime after the crash of 2008, I remember reading an article by Dr. Krugman. In it, and I'm paraphrasing, he spoke of the immeasurable cost to the American economy caused by the millions of people out of work due to the Great Recession. Not only their personal loss, but the loss to the economy caused by the fact that they were unemployed. The American economy, the most powerful economic force in the history of humankind. What should we say about the losses incurred to the tiny Macedonian economy caused by a similar dynamic, by the brain drain? This got me thinking. In 1978, I was a valedictorian and an orphan. Let me explain. I had just graduated from high school as the best student of my generation, and both my parents died when I was a child. I wanted to be a filmmaker, but had no connections essential for a career in film. Usually, children of established filmmakers or children of politicians had a chance to go to film school or to be funded by the government. Since I had no connections, I was hoping that my grades and my work outside school — I was publishing regularly by the time I was 17, I won my first award for fiction at 13 — would be enough. They were not. I did not get the scholarship to go study film, but a famous cinematographer's son did. So I refocused. I went to the American Center, got a book that listed all the film schools in the US, and started writing letters. One thing led to another, and eventually I was asked to send my documents and my proof of film-related work. I mailed dozens of articles I had published, all my diplomas and awards. A few months later, I was accepted and given a 1-year tuition waiver. If I remained in good standing after the first year, the university would extend the waiver. I could go to film school. So I rented out the apartment I was living in, the one in the house my father built the year before I was born in Skopje. I packed all my clothes, many books, even pens and watercolors. My suitcase weighed 53 kilos. I bought a one-way ticket to St. Louis, then took a bus to Carbondale, Illinois, USA. 4 years later, I returned with a diploma and a dream. I wrote a script, and a production company liked it enough to put it in development. They made a budget and submitted it to the government for funding. Journalists started calling and asking for interviews. While I was giving interviews, rewriting the screenplay, storyboarding, casting, and scouting for locations, the Macedonian government did very little. They never responded to the application. They did not reject the project. They did not approve the project. They simply ignored the project. I did not have the connections that seemed necessary, but the older film directors did have them. They spoke to people in the government, bad-mouthed the movie, laughed at my earrings and punk music. I kept looking for people to help the project. I took it to Belgrade. I submitted it to Macedonian TV. The project would always get good reviews, but somehow die on the road to getting financed by the government. We even offered to do it for free, myself, the producer, the entire cast and crew composed of experienced, award-winning actors and filmmakers. A government official received us, listened to us, and did nothing. Then I went to the Macedonian national TV. They took on the project. It got good reviews. We started pre-production, but then the managing editor asked for the cast list. When he saw that his friend and partner was not on it, he canceled the project. 3 years passed, and the screenplay did not move any closer to production. I wrote 11 drafts of the script, did more than 1,000 drawings for the storyboard, took thousands of location pictures, fully cast the film, even did the music with the band. But there was no film. So I packed my bags again and bought another one-way ticket, this time to New York. 8 years later, I had another screenplay. I submitted it to British Screen and to the Macedonian National TV. British Screen liked it and decided to support it. I'm still waiting for a response from Macedonian TV. The name of the film was Before the Rain. British Screen went on to develop the project, then Polygram France and Channel 4 came on board. The Macedonian Ministry of Culture supported the film at first, but then withdrew its support. I begged the Minister of Culture, went to see the Prime Minister, met with the President, begging for the support, since this was a Macedonian film. The minister later told me that he was convinced by the actor and by an older director that this was all a scheme to steal the Macedonian money, in spite of the involvement of the British government. This was going to be the first Macedonian international co-production. We nevertheless went ahead and started shooting. About a week before we were scheduled to complete production, Macedonia became an official partner in Before the Rain, contributing less than 7% of the budget. The film did well internationally. It won 30 awards, including Golden Lion in Venice, the Independent Spirit in the US, and an Academy Award nomination. It was distributed in more than 50 countries. The New York Times included it on its list of 1,000 best films ever made. It is being taught at hundreds of universities and even high schools internationally, made it into film encyclopedias. It is the most awarded work of art to ever come out of Macedonia. It put the country on the world map. For my next film, Dust, Macedonia contributed 5% of the budget. Almost 30 years later, more than half of the finances for my latest film, Kaimak, came from foreign sources. In the meantime, the son of another director received more government funding for his one film than I did for all my films. The son of the former chief of police was running the film agency, the son of the Minister of Propaganda, the Filmmakers Union. In spite of all this, I left Macedonia and returned 3 times. I brought know-how, finances, and desire to help. I always hire young people. But most people don't have that luxury nor that need to return. Most people leave not only for higher salaries, but also for sidewalks with no cars on them, for clean air, for fair and efficient courts, for a place where you don't need to be someone's son or daughter in order to have a job and a decent life. If the long-term losses to the American economy caused by unemployment in the wake of the Great Recession of 2008 are huge, as Dr. Krugman wrote in that article, what can we say about the losses caused by the Macedonian brain drain of the last 30 years? If we want to talk about a prosperous and functioning economy, let's talk about nepotism and corruption. Not only because they're morally wrong, but also because they cost any society, and especially a poor one. They cost you money, they cost you resources, they keep you down. With that humble message, I want to wish you a great conference and a bon appetit.